The views, information, and opinions expressed during the following program are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent the views of Access Communications, its representatives, or its employees.
The past year we have completed or are nearing completion of several projects. We have provided the information, photos, and funds to the Yorkton Historic Flour Mill for an outside storyboard about sports in Yorkton, which will be added to those that are already in place on the south side of the old mill, telling stories of many aspects of life in Yorkton. Sports will be there, and I expect it might be the spring before that is up. We hired a student this summer to do some additional research about inductees where we felt some of the information was incomplete and where the inductees are not with us anymore. Last year, we created a small photo gallery for each inductees with pictures of memorabilia along with their citation, and we will continue to expand that. We have sent out requests to a number of inductees to see if they have additional photos or artifacts of sports artifacts that are of a general nature, and by the end of this year we will have a section on our website, www.yshf.ca, with those photos, and we will basically have a virtual museum on the website, and that has been made possible with the support of SAS Lotteries. We thank Access Communications for again recording our entire proceedings here this evening. That will be shown on Access Now TV for those who have Access cable service on Friday, September the 27th at 3 p.m. After that, Access Communications has graciously offered to provide the video to us, and we will post it on our website so anyone, anywhere can see it. Brady Lang, who is just here helping, of B. Lang Media, formerly the CTV reporter, you may remember him from that, is also recording some vignettes and moments so that we can show this evening a little more up close and personal on our website and social media in the weeks ahead. The evening's program is pretty straightforward. Along with the Yorkton Lions Club, we will present the Support for Sports Award, with the citations being read by board members David Beliski and Ron Balacco. That will be followed by our guest speaker, Dennis Polonich, and then the induction of 4 individuals and 1 team. By that time, it'll be around 9 o'clock, past bedtime for many of us, but the rest of you are welcome to stay and visit. Before we get to that, we're going to take a bit of time because I want to introduce the previous inductees and board members who are here tonight to help us mark the 30th anniversary of our Sports Hall of Fame. We'll do this by induction year, and we'll go way back to the start, those inducted as part of the class of 1994. Len Bodie, athlete and builder, track and cross country. Class of 1995, Alan McDonald, athlete, track. Don Pfeifer, builder, volleyball. The class of 1996, Merv Pollock, athlete, hockey. Merv was also inducted as a member of the 1969-70 Yorkton Terriers senior hockey team. Linus Westberg, does that name ring a bell? He was inducted for media in 1996. He really wanted to be here. If you know Linus, I think I had 4 emails and 2 phone calls from him telling me exactly that. He wished he could be here. He now lives in Red Deer and is undergoing treatment for acute leukemia, which means almost daily hospital visits for treatments and testing. Linus, in an email he sent me Thursday from he and Ellen, congratulated those who started and are continuing this Hall of Fame. Linus, and he won't mind me saying this, is a devout Catholic. And he added, "You are not ready for canonization just yet, but I'm working on it." And he said, "Keep us in your prayer corner. Remember, Protestant prayers also count." That's Linus. Class of 1997, Vern Pahal, builder, hockey and golf. And of course, he was the founding president of this organization. Class of 1998, Ed Magus, builder, football. Where did Ed go? He was also coach of the 1968 YCI Gritters and the 1994 Yorkton Regional High School Raiders football teams, both of which were also inducted. Class of 1999, Lillian Britton, builder, synchronized swimming. Very back. Barry Sharp, athlete and builder, hockey, football, and rodeo. Class of 2000, Eddie Cody, multi-sport athlete, Special Olympics. Eddie was the first Special Olympian to be inducted into a Sports Hall of Fame anywhere in Canada. Barry Marianchuk, athlete, hockey. Barry was also the coach of the 81-82 Knights of Columbus Bandam hockey team, which was inducted the same year. And in 2000, Dave Rodney, athlete, mountain climbing. By the way, this is our 30th anniversary. It is Dave's 60th birthday, and his dad, Con Rodney, is 90 years old. Class of 2001. Inducted were the 1982 Yorkton Max Juvenile and Midget Boys volleyball teams, both coached by Dennis Pomeroy. With us tonight is Colin Malischuk, a member of the Midget team. Colin? We heard from a number of others who could not be here for various and good reasons. Ron and Greg Parchomchuk, Scott Boris, Dion Pfeifer, Paul Procession, and Blaine Tendler. The last four, Scott, Dion, Paul, and Blaine, are all still very much in volleyball 42 years later. I also had a phone conversation with Gail Harris, athlete in track, would love to be here. She's now living in Boston, Massachusetts. And if she could have made it, she'd have been here. Class of 2002, Lorianne Munt, athlete, volleyball. Lorianne represented Canada at 3 World Cup championships, 2 Pan Am Games, 2 World Student Games, and the 1996 Olympics. Inducted was the 2000 Parkland Optimist Open Synchronized Swim Team. With us, our coach, Michelle Hoffman, and team member, Christy Nielsen, now Christy Prop. Christy, Michelle. Class of 2003. Michael Merriman, athlete in hockey, was inducted. He now lives and works in Pond Inlet, Nunavut. Look it up on the map. It's as far north as you can be, where you'll find life other than polar bears. It really is a long way up there. But his dad, Barry, is here. Barry, welcome. The class of 2005, the 1999 Shimco men's curling team. With us are Gerald Shimco, Jerry Adam, Steve Sopko, and Arnie Geisler. Stand up. Stand up. Well, Gerald, you don't have to stand up. We can see you. Neil Kersons, a member of that team, cannot be here, but we welcome his parents. Tom and Sharon Kersons are with us. The 1990-91 Yorkton Terrier Junior Hockey team was inducted under coach and general manager Dennis Pollock. Dennis. Class of 2007, Gary Gorlick, Builder Hockey. We received messages from two other inductees that year. Joan Inglis McCusker, world champion curler, is in Europe where her daughter is attending university. And Sandra Flaman, now Sandra England, athlete in track, is playing golf overseas. Now you'd think that, that would be more important than being, anyway, that's where she is. And she sends her best wishes. Class of 2008, Betty Chevens, builder, figure skater. Betty. Dave Barron, builder, track, and volleyball. Dave was also inducted as coach of the 1998 Yorkton Blitz Midget Girls Volleyball team and as president of the inducted 2013-14 Yorkton Terriers. The 1996-97 Key Cheval's Bantam Hockey team was inducted, and with us is the assistant coach from that team, Jason Gordon. I talked to Arden Knoll, athlete in golf, who was inducted that year, and he would be here except they are expecting the birth of a grandchild this weekend. He thought it'd be better to stay in Kelowna. The class of 2009, the 1993 Yorkton Expos Midget baseball team was inducted. With us, Coach Don Zabo. Also, Barry Bradshaw, builder, snowmobiling. And Wayne Mitchell, athlete and builder, taekwondo. Class of 2014, Bryce Jacobs, builder, baseball. Class of 2022. This induction was what we could call the start of the new era after a hiatus of 6 years and a couple of years of COVID. Inducted were Suzanne Mitchell, builder, taekwondo. And the 1964 Yorkton Collegiate Institute Gritter football team. Here this evening are Gordon Gleason, Doobie Lang, Ed Magus, coach. Luba, his wife, can't be here. She was the team manager and did all the real work. Wayne Rusnak, Gord Tamblin, and Ron Balacco. Stand up. And the class of 2023, Jerry Adam, builder and athlete, curling. We received messages from others who have not messages other than the ones I've mentioned. Jason Zawarsky, who was inducted for water skiing, really, on the prairies, water skiing. I was very much looking forward to attending and really appreciate the gesture of an invite, but unfortunately will not be able to attend. I have an amazing event and hope to keep in touch with his amazing organization. Steve Laycock sends regrets. He is curling this weekend. Ron Parchomchuk, a member of the 1982 volleyball teams and now a lawyer in Prince Albert, is unable to attend, he says, because he's hosting a client golf tournament this weekend. Tony Hayden, well known to most of us, send a message: keep up the great work of recognizing those individuals and teams who spend countless unseen hours striving for excellence and trying to become more than they are. We received a message from Blaine Tendler, also of the 1982 Max volleyball teams. Can't attend because he said they're starting their season. So I said, what are you doing and where? Blaine is the associate head coach at North Carolina AT&T University, a Division I volleyball program located in Greensboro, North Carolina. And Mary, his wife of 32 years, is the head coach for volleyball at Elon University, also a Division I program. Jim Caudle, involved with Terrier hockey when he was in business in Yorkton at independent agencies with Reg Coles, Barry Marianchuk, and others, now lives in Vancouver, would have loved to be here, couldn't make it. Paul Procession, also with the 82 volleyball Max. Unfortunately, I have a previous engagement and will be unable to attend, but thank you for reaching out. P.S. I am still actively involved in volleyball, coaching high school and club volleyball for the past 24 years. Got a message from Darcy McLeod, who was the former director of Recreation Parks and whatever other stuff is in that title. They keep changing. They keep changing that department. I can't keep track of it. Anyway, Darcy says, I won't be able to attend this celebration, but please know that I am proud to have played a small part in its history. I wish you and all involved with this event the best for a successful night celebrating the sports history of Yorkton. Thank you for thinking to include me. It does mean a lot to me. Talk to Trevor Sekundiak, golfer, hockey player. He can't make it because he is now the director of sales at Kananaska's golf course in Alberta, and this is still in their season. He said he wished he could be here because he said Dennis is a great guy. Did you coach him, Dennis? Yeah?
You got lots of ice.
And we received a message of congratulations and support from former board member Murray Wagner, who now lives in Saskatoon. The work of any organization does not happen instantly and sometimes not easily. The following people who are with us were members of the founding board in 1994. Patty Gable, Patty Pilon when she was here. Patty. Is Patty here? Didn't make it. She was going to be. David Barron and Vern Pahal. Those who have served, yeah, go ahead. Those who served on past boards and here tonight are Alan Hill, Jerry Kabilka, Don Zabo, Michelle Butcher, and Janice Zawarsky. All stand up. And our current board members are Becky Duchak, Larry Off, Ron Balacco, Stacy Neufeld, Ryan Kitchen, Warren Leonard, David Beliski, Avery LeBlanc, who has moved to Moose Jaw and will be resigning, Randy Golden, and yours truly. Randy was a surprise to show up because she was in Africa, and she was supposed to be back tomorrow. And I don't know how you get one day early coming back from Africa, especially when her flight went from Zambia to Zimbabwe to Ethiopia to Italy to Toronto. And then she had to get her luggage to go through customs and put her luggage back on the plane. And when she got to Regina this afternoon, the luggage was lost. Yeah, no surprise. If you have a hankering to join our board and want to have as much fun as we have, let one of us know. We can appoint you in an instant and then formalize your board directorship at the annual general meeting in February. We would welcome the participation of anyone interested in the work that this organization does. If I've missed any past inductee or board members, have I? Stand up, let me know. Nope, nope, nope. In that case, let's get on with the show. And the first item is the Support for Sports Awards. David and Ron will take the lead and read the citations, and then I will invite Anthony Sonny, the treasurer of the Yorkton Lions Club, to join Mayor Mitch to participate in the presentations off right here. Ron and David, it's all yours.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'll start things off here with our first award recipient, and then hand it off to Ron, and we'll kind of go back and forth. So to start out, we'll start with Garrett Karcha. Garrett's journey in sports and education began over 15 years ago at Sacred Heart High School, where he has served as the athletic director for the past 12 years. His influence, however, reaches back even further. Long before he officially took on the role of athletic director, Garrett was already making his mark, coaching YSHF basketball teams as far back as the year 2000 while still in college. His dedication to sports has been constant throughout his life, a passion that has only grown stronger with time. Garrett's commitment to coaching is not confined to a single sport. Over the years, he has taken on numerous coaching roles, currently serving as the head football coach and track and field coach at Sacred Heart. Garrett has also coached basketball, hockey, baseball, and various other sports while within the community, adapting wherever he's needed. He balances his extensive coaching career with the responsibilities of being a dedicated husband and father, adjusting his schedule as needed to meet the needs of his family and his students. Garrett's approach to coaching and education has been influenced by his mentors while growing up. Garrett often credits his former teachers and coaches for introducing him to the balance of academics and physical activity, which laid the foundation for his philosophy as an educator and coach. Garrett remains committed to promoting physical activity and fostering connections between extracurricular programming and academic life. He firmly believes that relationships built through team activities, whether in sports or other activities, are integral to the development of well-rounded individuals and crucial in shaping students into engaged and active members of society. Garrett was recently recognized with the 2024 Saskatchewan High School Athletic Association's Service Award, which honors those that have provided outstanding leadership, service, and promotion of high school athletics in the district. This is a testament not only to his exceptional leadership and dedication, but also the impact he has had on the lives of students, athletes, and our community as a whole. His work continues to inspire and guide the next generation towards a brighter, more connected, and active future. Garrett, please come on up and receive your award.
The awards that we're awarding right now are the Yorkton Lions Support for Sports Awards. The Yorkton Lions Club and the Yorkton Sports Hall of Fame present annual awards that recognize individuals, businesses, clubs, and organizations who have displayed a long-term and significant commitment to supporting amateur sports in Yorkton. The support can take many forms, including volunteerism, financial or in-kind support, organizational assistance, traditional or new media excellence, or other ways that have benefited sports organizations or athletes. The second award tonight is Jay Boyd. By the age of 10, Jay Boyd knew he would be a sportscaster. By the time he was a teenager, his buddies were calling him Cummy, after former Detroit Red Wing Cummy Burton. At the time, Burton was a sportscaster at the local Sudbury, Ontario television station. Jay, his parents and siblings were living just 3 miles east of Sudbury in the small community of Coniston. The road to Yorkton was a long one for Jay. It started in Hamilton, where he spent 2 years in a media course at Mohawk College. After that, he was offered a radio DJ job in Kapuskasing, Ontario. Next up, he packed his bags and headed west, where he ended up calling Flin Flon Bomber games for CFAR radio long before the Bombers joined the SJHL. It was the beginning of many, many years covering junior hockey. His next stop was in Dauphin, and that's where one day he received a call from the legendary Linus Westberg, the longtime sportscaster at Shamrock Television, also known as CICC TV. Linus was moving into a more management role at the station and decided that Jay would be his replacement. For Boyd, it was ideal. Yorkton Terrier games to cover and many other SJHL games in other Saskatchewan communities. But it wasn't only hockey. Other sports like football, baseball, curling, high school sports, and so much more were covered by Shamrock TV. You know, I sort of miss them. We don't get any local TV anymore. It all comes out of Regina, Saskatoon, and CKOS and Shamrock, and it's all gone. And to be honest, it'd be nice if we had something like that back again that covered more local area activities. One of Jay's favorite duties was preparing and hosting a weekly 30-minute sports show called Sportsbeat, which won a National Canpro Award in 1994. 7 years later, Jay's career at CIC was over. He ended up doing hockey games, usually with Terry Struthers on Image Cable. Next up was the same job, but with Axis 7. And then he and his good buddy Mike Stackhouse called games across the entire province for SaskTel Max. When the pandemic hit and shut down all sports, Jay decided it was time to retire. His wife Lorna retired from her job with the city of Yorkton 2 years later. Jay has 3 daughters, all living in Regina, and 4 grandchildren. The 2 boys, aged 8 and 11, both play hockey, and Jay and Lorna love traveling to the Queen City and watching them play. Jay said one of his proudest moments was when he got to interview Gordie Howe and Bobby Hull. Jay, unfortunately, is traveling in Quebec and Ontario. It's long-standing holidays that he had planned. He's been gone for a month, going to be gone for a month, and he's unable to attend tonight. But I'd ask you to give a big hand for Jay Boyd.
All right, our next recipient, Chad McDowell. So Chad was introduced to coaching basketball in 1996 by Tony Hayden while in grade 9 at CJ Houston Junior High School. 29 years later, coaching Yorkton basketball teams remains a big part of Chad's life. In the past 20 years, Chad has coached many Yorkton school basketball teams, including the YSHF Senior Girls, YSHF Junior Girls, Dr. Brass Girls, St. Michael's Girls, and St. Michael's Boys basketball teams. In 2017, Chad's son Yanni wanted to play basketball in the upcoming year when he finished kindergarten. Since there is no such program in Yorkton, Chad began planning for a youth basketball team within the city. In 2018, Chad organized Yorkton's inaugural season of the Steve Nash Youth Basketball Program for youth in grades 1 to 6. The following year, this program amalgamated with the Junior NBA under Chad's watchful eye. What began as 7 teams in 2 schools grew to, in 2017, 7 teams in 2 schools, has grown to 17 teams in 4 schools in 2024. Chad also stayed dedicated to the Junior NBA program through the pandemic. He offered weekly virtual challenges and a summer camp while the school gyms were closed. Not only do Chad and his family coordinate and organize everything in the program, they also coach in it. In 2019, Chad began coaching in Jason Payne's Yorkton Blue Jays basketball program and has continued to coach a team each spring season. In 2023, he also began coaching in a Blue Jays 3-on-3 fall basketball league. Not only is there overlap each year with these programs, but Chad officiates basketball in his free time. When he isn't officiating school, club, or junior NBA, he can often be found volunteering, officiating in one of Tony Hayden's local basketball programs. Chad has especially enjoyed officiating lately, which he is often paired up with his daughter Evia. Chad often coaches on his own, but is thankful that his early coaching career was alongside Tony Hayden, and his recent coaching has been alongside his wife, Kara. Chad, please come on up and receive your award.
You know, when we play sports as an athlete, almost all sports have someone who officiates or judge or umpires. There's umpires, there's refs in umpires in baseball, refs in football, same thing in basketball. Track and field has officials all over the place. As an athlete, as a young athlete, my bet is that no one, or not many people, actually knew anything about those people. You don't know who the refs are, who the umpires are. You know that if you go to the wrong town, you're going to get penalties called against you and the other team won't. You know that most of the time it's going to be good officiating, and there's a lot of hard work and dedication that goes into it. Tonight we're going to hear about one of those people. The third nominee is, or fourth nominee is Warren Burrell. Warren, his wife, and 2 daughters moved to Yorkton in August of 2011. He's starting his 13th year as a teacher at St. Michael's School in Yorkton. Upon moving here, he had a goal of giving back through officiating sports. He picked up hockey and football right away. He added baseball a couple of years later. Upon hearing that his daughter's basketball tournament was canceled due to lack of officials, he started to work basketball. In hockey, he has worked as a referee and linesman at all levels, including Junior A. He has worked numerous big playoff and provincial games across the region. In 2015 and 2022, he was selected as the most dedicated official by his peers in this zone. He was a previous winner of the top official for Yorkton minor hockey. In addition to officiating, he has been a supervisor and handled other administrative duties for hockey, Sask, and Yorkton minor hockey. In football, he has worked 4 provincial finals and has worked 3 football Sask senior bowls, including 2 as a head ref. Now this is interesting. I spoke to Warren yesterday, caught him about 6:30 or 7 o'clock, and he said, yeah, I just finished reffing a game in Yorkton and I'm on my way to Esterhazy to ref another game there. Now that's hard work as officiating and reffing. This past summer, he worked the bronze and gold medal games at the Football Canada Women's National Football Championship in New Brunswick. In baseball, he has held numerous roles in the Yorkton area, including finding enough umpires for a 52-team tournament in Melville this past summer. He's worked numerous provincial finals, the gold medal game at the Sask Summer Games, a couple of Western Canada baseball championships, and 2 Baseball Canada National Championships in 2018 and 2022. Baseball Sask selected him as Umpire of the Year in 2021. None of this is achieved alone. Warren has indicated that he would like to thank his employer, Christ the Teacher School Division, his colleagues, and the many mentors and fellow officials across the province who helped him out. His mom and deceased father always ingrained in him that you have to contribute to society. Judging from these accomplishments, I guess we can say he has. His supportive wife, Asami, and his daughters, Yuka and Aya, deserve a lot of credit for allowing him to achieve his dreams. He loves showing them that if you put the work in, peer recognition will follow. Lastly, his beautiful personal trainer, Frisbee, the family husky cross dog. No matter how bad the body is beat up, and no matter how tough officiating is on the mind, she's always there to provide canine therapy. Warren, come on up.
Okay, our next Lions Support for Sports Award recipients. This is a group award recognition, I guess, to Michelle and Dion Pfeifer, who are unfortunately unable to make it tonight as they are in Saskatoon coaching volleyball. So Michelle began her volleyball career in a small village of Pennant, Saskatchewan. The town hall was her gym, and the court spanned from wall to wall. It was there, in that humble setting, that Michelle developed her skills under the guidance of a great teacher. Her passion for the game grew as she attended high school at Swift Current Comprehensive. From 1985 to 1987, Michelle was a key player for the Swift Current Ardens volleyball team, leading them to a couple of provincial championship seasons, followed by university volleyball at the University of Regina and Red Deer College. During her time in college, specifically in Red Deer, she earned an impressive collection of medals: a silver medal at the 1992 ACAC, a silver medal at the 1992 CCAA Nationals, a gold medal at the 1993 ACAC, and a bronze at the 1993 CCAA National Championship. Michelle also made her mark on the beach volleyball scene, competing in the Sylvan Lake, Alberta Beach Tournament Summer Series in 1992 and 1993. Michelle began her coaching career in 1992, running summer volleyball camps for grades 7 to 12 in Red Deer and surrounding areas. She took on various coaching roles, including the head coach for the Blitz 16U women's team, Prince Albert Central Institute, and Hugh Cairns VC Elementary School boys team. Locally, she has coached MC Knoll boys volleyball and Yorkdale girls volleyball, leading both teams to multiple city championships from 2008 to 2016. Her husband, Dion Pfeifer, began his volleyball journey here in Yorkton during the 1980s, a time when our city was known as the Mecca of volleyball under coach Dennis Pomeroy. Dion's early years were marked by a string of successes, winning provincial championship gold medals with the Yorkton Regional High School boys volleyball team in 1983, 1984, and 1985, as well as numerous Western Canadian and national championship medals with Team Saskatchewan and the Yorkton Max boys club team from 1983 to 1986. In 1987, Dion was part of the Team Saskatchewan that won a gold medal at the Canada Games, along with 7 fellow Yorkton teammates. Dion went on to play volleyball for the University of Saskatchewan Huskies from 1987 to 1990, where he became a CIAU gold medalist. Dion's love for the game continued beyond his university years, where he continued playing senior men's volleyball from 1990 to 2006. His contributions to the sport have been recognized with his induction into the Yorkton, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan Volleyball, and Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fames with various teams. Transitioning into coaching, Dion led the Saskatoon Walter Murray senior girls volleyball team to a provincial gold medal in 1991, prior to coaching grades 7 and 8 volleyball in Saskatoon from 92 to 2001. In 2002, Dion moved back to Yorkton, where he took over the YSHF senior boys volleyball program. For nearly 2 decades, from 2002 to 2021, Dion was the guiding force behind the YSHF senior boys volleyball. nurturing young talent and instilling in them the same passion for volleyball that has driven him throughout his life. Dion retired in June of 2022 after 31 years of teaching and coaching, but the call of the court was too strong to ignore. By the fall of 2023, he was back, proving that his dedication to the sport was unwavering. In addition to their individual accomplishments, Michelle and Dion have also made significant contributions to the sport as a coaching team. From 1998 to 2000, they led numerous week-long camps across Saskatchewan. In 2014, they started the local boys volleyball club program known as the Bongos, which they coached and managed until 2020. From 2018 to 2020, Dion and Michelle served as head and assistant coaches for the Yorkton Regional Raiders senior boys team, and as of 2023, they have taken on the same roles with the Yorkton Regional Raiders senior girls team. Dion and Michelle's contributions to volleyball has extended beyond the court. Their dedication to nurturing young talent, their passion for the game, and their unwavering commitment to excellence have left an indelible mark on the sport in Saskatchewan. Together, they have created a legacy that will inspire future generations of athletes and coaches alike. Congratulations to Dion and Michelle. Unfortunately, they're unable to make it tonight. Thank you.
Don Pfeifer. The Yorkton Sports Hall of Fame was created in 1994 and is celebrating its 30th anniversary here in Yorkton tonight. The Hall of Fame had a strong group of volunteers and directors that created and set up the organization for long-term and lasting success. However, due to numerous factors, by 2011, the Sports Hall of Fame only had a handful of board members remaining, and that continued to dwindle. One more induction was held in 2014, but it was clear that a push was going to have to be made in order to replenish the board to keep the organization active. In 2019, efforts by Don Pfeifer to resurrect the Yorkton Sports Hall of Fame began. With the assistance of Vern Pahal, Don made a public appeal to gain support and attempt to resurrect the Yorkton Sports Hall of Fame. At an informational public meeting, several members of the public pledged to help resurrect the hall. This wasn't without challenges. A water pipe burst at the Land Titles building on Smith Street in Yorkton, which was the former home of the museum, where many artifacts and records and storage were damaged or destroyed. Luckily, thanks to an insurance claim and several volunteers, many artifacts and records were salvaged. Then the COVID pandemic hit, restricting the opportunity to hold the long-awaited induction dinner. Well, Don worked long and hard, and I can tell this crowd here tonight that he is the big reason that this Sports Hall of Fame is up and running again. He put in a lot of hours, he recruited a lot of volunteers, he did a lot of work, and he sort of shepherded the new members through the process of trying to get the organization running again. In 2022, this Yorkton Sports Hall of Fame returned with its first induction night in 8 years. It was wildly successful. The resurrection of a strong board of directors that helped rejuvenate an important historical organization would never have been possible without the foresight and dedication of Don Pfeifer. Don is already inducted in the Yorkton Sports Hall of Fame as a builder due to his contributions in the sport of volleyball. And his achievements will fill pages. This nomination for the Yorkton Sports Hall of Fame and Lions Support for Sports Award is for his work in rejuvenating the Yorkton Sports Hall of Fame. I would ask Don to rise and come forward, and I'd ask everyone to give him a big round of applause.
Thanks, everyone, and congratulations to all the recipients of the Yorkton Lions Support for Sports Award, and thanks again to the Lions Club for sponsoring that. Wayne Rusnak, a longtime friend of Dennis Pollock, at least that's what Wayne says. Dennis, you can verify that if you want. We'll introduce our guest speaker. But I do have to tell you one little story that Linus told me a few weeks ago. When Linus did a sports show at Shamrock Television, CKOS CICC television here, you'll remember that. The reception was pretty good if you put tin foil on your rabbit ears. You know how that went? Linus would sit behind a desk, and the guest he was interviewing would sit in a chair beside him. Typical talk show style. Except, Linus said, when his guest was Dennis Pollock, who he affectionately referred to as the tiny terror from Foam Lake. When Polo was the guest, they would do the show standing up, because Dennis was the only athlete Linus ever interviewed who was shorter than he was. In fairness, Dennis, you'll have equal time to respond to that. Wayne?
Thank you, Dick. I have known Dennis for a long time, since the very early 70s when my oldest son went to Dennis's and Bernie Federico's hockey school here in Yorkton. And so I got to know him pretty good over the years, and he became a pretty good golfer, and I enjoyed golf, and I had the good fortune of spending a few days in Kimberley, Dennis, myself, and two other fellows. And we got there late in the evening, had no groceries in the condo we were at, so we decided to go out and get something to eat. Well, one of the guys that was with us was an avid pool player, and lo and behold, there were two pool tables in the room. And so he goes and puts 50 cents in the one pool table, and there were four other lads sitting around, not playing pool, but just sitting by the pool tables. And one of the guys gets up, says, you know, that's my pool table. If you want to play pool in this place, you're going to play me. Well, and our friend said, no, you guys have this table, we'll just go use the other table. And he puts 50 cents in that table, and the guy comes over to him and says to him again, this is my table too. I told you, if you want to play pool in this place, you're going to play me. So our buddy looks at Dennis and he says, Dennis, can you help solve this problem? So Dennis stands up and walks over, kind of in a polite manner, you know, quiet, says to the fellow, he says, boys, all at once or one at a time? How do you want it? Well, the four guys left, and we had two pool tables, so that worked out pretty good for us. So, in any event, now to the more formal part. I just wanted to tell you that story because it might give you a bit of an indication of what kind of an individual and character Dennis Polo is. He displayed that character throughout his athletic career, which started way back a number of years ago. He was born and raised in Foam Lake, Saskatchewan, now lives in Scottsdale in the winter, but spends all of his summertime at his cabin at Fishing Lake. We're told, probably a stretch even for Linus Westberg, that he stands 5'6", and when he played hockey weighed in at 165 pounds. He was able to attract attention to the scouts, the NHL scouts, while playing in Flin Flon with the Bombers of the Western Canadian Hockey League in the early 70s by being a pest, antagonizing opposing players, and even scoring the occasional goal. During the 72-73 season in Flin Flon, Dennis was known for his trash talking, racked up 222 penalty minutes along with 74 points. Pretty good stats for a guy that was 5'6". He was drafted 118th overall by the Detroit Red Wings in 1973, and they wanted to see if Dennis could be effective in a higher level league and sent him to play with the London Lions in Britain. He impressed, was brought back for the 74-75 season. Dennis then joined the Virginia Wings of the AHL, led the team in penalty minutes, but his 34 points helped them reach the playoffs, where he was the team's leading scorer in their short playoff appearance. Towards the end of the season, Dennis joined the Red Wings for his first 4 NHL games. Short stint with the Kalamazoo Wings of the IHL came next, and he became a full-time Red Wing in the 75-76 NHL season. At that time, the Red Wings hadn't been all that successful. They were retooling, adding toughness and grit to their roster, and after a few disappointing seasons, Dennis fit the bill. He brought an instant force to the team, set a club record in March 24th, 1976 by sitting out 8 penalties, 5 minors, a major, and a misconduct, all in one game. He was the first rookie to be penalized more than 300 minutes in one season, and was quoted as saying, "If I'd stayed out of the box a little more, I might have scored 20 or 25 goals. You have to have a mighty long stick to score from the penalty box." In 76-77, Dennis was named captain of the Detroit Red Wings, an honor that he holds dearly to this day. On October 25th, 78, he got under the skin of Colorado Rockies' Wilf Paymont, who smashed Dennis across the face with his stick, leaving him with a concussion, several facial lacerations, broken nose, requiring reconstructive surgery. Don't laugh at Dennis's nose. He's still fussy about that, you know. Resulted in Dennis having breathing problems for the rest of his career. He was sent to the AHL after the 80-81 season, helped the Adirondack Red Wings reach the playoffs twice, winning the Calder Cup in 1981. Then played for the Muskegon Lumberjacks of the IHL, retired 1 year after the Lumberjacks won the Turner Cup as league champions. In total, Dennis spent 15 seasons in the Red Wings organization. Following his NHL career, he was hired as general manager and head coach of the Yorkton Terriers in the middle of the 86-87 season, a position he held for 6 seasons. He was SJHL Coach of the Year in 87-88. The Terriers unfortunately lost the SJHL Championship Finals in the 89-90 season, but won it in the 1990-91 season along with winning the Anavet Cup. He made the jump to the Western Hockey League in '92 when he was hired as the general manager of the Medicine Hat Tigers. Spent 4 seasons with the Tigers and then was hired by the Prince George Cougars as their general manager in 1996, and he held that position for 2 years. Following that, Dennis became a player agent following his hockey management career and is now at the wonderful age of 70, fully retired. Ladies and gentlemen, my distinct pleasure to introduce to you Polo.
Thank you for the introduction. Warren, you represent the officials. I love you guys, now that I'm retired. Anyways, good evening, and thanks for having me. Thanks for the invite. Lots or most of you know my name, but you don't know my story. I'll try and share some of that with you and some of the lessons that I learned along the way. I was born just down the highway in Foam Lake. I grew up on a farm, a 2-bedroom house. A lot of you can relate to that. 5 kids. I learned quickly the first one up was the best dressed. And I also never slept alone until I got married. Some of you can relate to that. 37 years ago, I was 34 years old. I was married and had 2 young daughters, Jade and Lorraine. I had never applied for a job before. That's scary. Luckily, I stayed in hockey. As Wayne said, I was with the Red Wings for 15 years, coach, being a general manager for 12 years, and then I became a player agent for 22 years. You often hear about professional athletes when they get into the real world. What am I going to do? How am I going to pass my time? What skill sets do I have? That's reality. Those young girls I told you about, Jade is 42 now, Lorraine is 38, and they blessed us with 6 grandkids, 3 and 3. And when they say, wait till you have grandkids, well, they're right. Jaisha, the oldest, 13 years old, made the junior national team in gymnastics. She goes to camps now and she trains with Simone Biles. They're grooming her for 2028 Olympics. I said to both my son-in-laws, Ron and Brandon, I said, look, this is the way it's going to be. You break the rules, and my brothers and I don't mind going back to prison. I learned at a young age to pay attention. That's why I'm up here holding this mic, not holding a mop. I left home at the age of 15 to go to Moose Jaw to play better hockey and better competition. I grew up quickly. I'm telling you, beautiful words don't always make life easier or better sometimes. You need to hear what you don't want to hear. You can't expect entitlement in life and responsibility for nothing. Challenges and obstacles are there for a reason. It's to see how bad you want it. A good life takes hard work and good choices. When I left home back in 70-something, you didn't have personal trainers. This was hard work. That's before I went to Flin Flon Junior at 19, 20 years old. You can pass these around. There's more to come.
She'll probably take it home or not.
Autograph. I got to tell you a funny story. When I went to Flin Flon, they were coached by legendary coach Patty Janelle. So he sent me an invite to Foam Lake. We didn't have a phone on the farm. So I went to my grandma's house and I called Mr. Janelle. Because I had heard if you make the team, they supply all the equipment and you get CCM tax. I had like Black Panther, Bauer or something out of the catalog, Eaton's catalog. So I called Mr. Janelle from my grandma's house, and I didn't want to sound arrogant or cocky or whatever, so I asked him the question, what kind of skates should I bring? So he misunderstood the question. What I meant was, like, if I have an old pair of skates, do I need to buy new skates, or if I make the team, are you gonna supply me skates? So there was silence for a few seconds. He goes, Dennis, bring the fastest ones you got. As Wayne had mentioned, I played 2 years in Flin Flon, was drafted by Detroit. And that was back in 73, 74. I played for the same organization for 15 seasons. That's loyalty. And to this day, when I do these speaking engagements, I like to don the jersey. Little tight, but you don't ask for this, you earn it. It still gives me goosebumps knowing that this is an original 6 team. After the Flin Flon 2-year stint, I signed a 3-year deal with Detroit. I got $7,500 signing bonus. Like, I thought I could retire. Anyways, I went away and played. I came back home and I didn't want to live with mom and dad on the farm, so I bought a cottage at Fishing Lake that I still have today. Just to put things in perspective, it was $8,000. Some of the highlights of my career obviously were playing against Bobby Orr. I played against Wayne Gretzky when he was 18, when he first started in Edmonton. And one of the highlights that really sticks out in my mind, I took the opening face-off against Gordie Howe. Gordie Howe went to the WHA to Houston to play with so he could play with his sons. And then Houston became Hartford Whalers, and they played in Detroit in 1980. And Mark Howe was on one wing, and Marty Howe was the other wing, and Gordie Howe took the face-off, and I took the face-off against him. Did I win? That's the first time I backed off. I let him win the face-off, and the crowd went crazy. There's a picture in the NHL Hall of Fame in Toronto with Gordie Howe and his 2 sons taking the face-off against me. It was quite an honor. As Wayne said, I won 2 championships, no Stanley Cup, and I played in an outdoor game in Detroit at Comerica Park, Tiger Stadium, 47,000 people. The alumni played against the Toronto alumni. Again, that was an honor. The 70s weren't a banner era for the Wings. We only made the playoffs 1 year, but I did score a goal, a playoff goal, against Ken Dryden. I'll tell you a couple of quick stories, shorten this up a bit. It was at Comerica Park, and the Red Wings played, and they honored us at center ice, all the ex-captains, and this tells you about leadership. Lidstrom and Eiserman both skated up to all the captains at center ice and that, said, oh, you know, congratulations, you guys deserve this, and I'm glad they're doing this for you. And I had after the game, I had a Lidstrom jersey. A friend of mine wanted autographed. So I asked Nick, I said, Nick, could you sign this for me, please? Oh, yes, of course, Mr. Plonich. And I thought, whoa, like, Mr. Plonich. But that's why those people are strong leaders. A Gretzky story. He was 18 years old when he first started with the Oilers. And Detroit goes into to Edmonton, and it was they were having a morning skate. So he was fixing his sticks, and he was asking his teammates, and not some of the older teammates, you know, who does Detroit have, and who am I going to be playing against, or whatever. And some of the players said, well, in all likelihood, you're probably going to play against this Plonich kid. He's not very big, but he's feisty, he's tough. And Lee Fogelin, the captain, and Dave Semenko said, but Wayne, you don't have to worry about that. We'll look after it. So I was on the ice for national anthem because I was starting the game. And after the national anthem was over, I'm at center ice and I'm putting my helmet on, strapping my helmet, and Lee Fogelin and Semenko, his bodyguard, come skating through the center ice and said, Polo, you touched a great one tonight, you're dead. I tried my best. I think he had a goal and 3 assists that night. Another incident, another standout memory was Bobby Orr. Everybody remembers him from the Boston Bruins, but he did go to end up his career with Chicago Blackhawks. And it was with the Blackhawks that him and I had a little skirmish. And we ended up in the penalty box together. And his picture was on the cover of the program that night. So the people are streaming down from the crowd, sticking it under the glass of the penalty box, and he's signing it, and I'm chirping him from the thing. And he says, oh yeah, they just called you up to minors, you're trying to make a name for yourself. I said, yeah, I said, I'm not impressed with your clippings, with your newspaper clippings. So we're going back and forth, but deep down inside I thought, oh my God, if I had a program, can you sign it for me? My penalty record of approximately 1,300 total penalty minutes in the sin bin overshadows the fact that I had 11, 16, and 18 goals in the NHL, and 30 and 32 goals in the minors. But everybody likes to talk about the PIMs. You see, I was never accused of playing with an empty jockstrap. I was in the prime of my career at the age of 28, and I was coming off a 46-point season. Just to add to that, I made $85,000 that year. Leon Draisaitl now is going to make that in an hour. I was assaulted on the ice with a two-handed baseball swing across my face. That's what it looks like. I'll pass these around. They're gory. And my nose was shattered like an eggshell, and my face and eyes were severely swollen for days. I was out for 3 months, and I was never the same player after that incident. My assailant received a 15-game suspension. But I wasn't done yet. I had time on my side. I wanted to finish my professional career on my own terms, so I continued playing in the minors and won the Calder Cup and the Turner Cup. Now I was content. With a young family, it was time to start a second journey. I wanted to be close to home, and I wanted my girls to get to know their grandparents. We had missed Christmas for 14 years in a row. Now I have the chance to be in my grandkids' lives. I started coaching and managing junior hockey, Yorkton, Medicine Hat, Prince George, for a total of 12 years. I have learned so much along the way about culture and what it means to have pride for this crest on the front of the jersey. It's an attitude that you instill within the organization. I was very passionate and I wanted to win. And there was only one way to do things. It was my way. Not only did I build better hockey players, but I built better people. Life and hockey have defining moments. I got to read you a text that my daughter sent me just the other day. She has Jasha, the 13-year-old gymnast, and two 10-year-old twin boys, Nico and Teo, who are unbelievable athletes. So Jade sent this to me. This is from their the kids' baseball coach. Jade, I wanted to pop a quick email and let you know how I am impressed with your boys. They are fantastic athletes and are shining so far, but their politeness and hustle really stood out. Kudos to you and your husband. You should be very proud. When you get stuff like that, you know you're doing the right thing. Through the years, you learn to take pride in what you do. Today, I still get calls from players that I had coached, and one of them grew up here in town, Chris Newens. He was a good little player, but a bad listener. So I ended up trading him. And I got a call about 3 months ago wanting to converse with me because he's coaching kids now. And he apologized for his actions and said, I don't blame you for trading me. He says, I wished I would have known that back when I played for you. So the life lessons are there. As I said, I've played, coached, managed, and mentored people all throughout my life. I've been through hardship and adversity, and believe me, it doesn't change who you are. It only reveals who you are. Life and hockey have made me who I am today. I want to thank you folks for having me, and it's great to see some old faces here. Thank you. Jason, good luck with your midget team. Thank you.
Thanks, Polo. Appreciate your message, and thanks for coming to speak with us. We're now on to the final and important, one of the very important parts of this evening, the inductions. I'll invite up our Vice Chair, Becky Duchak, and our Treasurer and longtime board member, Ryan Kitchen, to lead the inductions. They will read the citations. Each inductee will be presented with a plaque and will have an opportunity to speak. Assisting with the plaque presentations will be Jeff and Christy Propp of Harvest Meats. Jeff is the company president, and Christy, who used to be Christy Nielsen, is an inductee as part of her team of synchronized swimmers. And taking part also will be Mayor Mitch and yours truly. You see, our civic elections are on this fall, and Mitch needs to get into handshaking mode.
Good evening, everyone. It truly is an honor to be here to introduce to you the class of 2024. To begin with, and as I was doing some of the, the research and the fact checking on this, I found this just so fascinating that it was as a result of bullying that Michael Forster, his journey started into the world of martial arts. And this began when he was just 15 years old. The owner-operator of the Yorkton Martial Arts Training Center, 32 years later, Master Forster is a decorated martial artist as he holds black belts in several martial arts, including a 7th degree black belt in Taekwondo, a 3rd degree black belt in Haidong-gum-do, which is the art of Korean swordmanship, and most recently, he became the first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt to reside in Yorkton. Master Forster is well known in the local and provincial martial arts circles as an incredible leader and a martial arts student and coach. He has dedicated most of his life to martial arts and his students. He has built a team of 22 coaches and assistants that have over 300 years of combined experience. As a result of this dedication and accomplishments, Master Forster was inducted into the International Martial Arts Hall of Fame as a Taekwondo Instructor of the Year in 2013. The Yorkton Martial Arts Training Center operates the Abominable Snow Slam Tournament for the last 18 years running, an open martial arts tournament that unite local athletes from across the region to participate in a wide range of events. Master Forster has been a UTI Team Canada member in 1998 Birmingham, 2002 Miami, and as a co-coach in 2005 Cardiff. He was a 2004 Canadian champion in Taekwondo point sparring. He has won gold medals at international Taekwondo championships that took place in South Korea in 2015 for ITF International Taekwondo Forums and for board breaking. Today, Master Forster dedicates himself to teaching the martial arts to many students. His leadership and engagement is held in high regard by many, as he is known to hold his students to a high level of training, offering women's self-defense classes and bully-proof programs. As an example, he has promoted 19 true martial artists to the rank of black belt. I was really looking in the parking lot for some sort of a board that we can find some board breaking. I'm sure it's okay. That table's not going to be needed later if we want. Tonight, we welcome Master Michael Forster as both an athlete and as a builder in the sport of martial arts into the Yorkton Sports Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much. I'd like to start by thanking Kelsey Harrison for nominating me for this award. Kelsey is one of my students and co-coaches. So good evening, sports fans. When a person steps out of their comfort zone to try something new such as sport, depending on their age and abilities, they usually don't plan on someday being a coach. They may have dreams of competing at a world level one day, or they may simply just enjoy the sport for the social aspect or use it for fitness. When starting out, many don't think that they could help someone else learn what they know or compete against their sport's top athletes. They definitely do not have the insight to believe that they might one day be inducted into the Hall of Fame. I have been blessed to have checked all these boxes. Athletes that can craft their sport into a way of life, go on to compete at high level, become a coach at any level, are almost always doing all that for the love of the sport. They're trying to pass along and instill that love into others so that they can help as many people as possible experience the same benefits that they have enjoyed. As a coach, I can promise we don't do it for the accolades or awards. We're generally happy to hear that we could help someone achieve their goal, feel better about themselves, or to know how many use the sports that we love to improve their mental health. Like many young students, I started Taekwondo because I was being bullied. Quickly, I realized that I had a natural talent for it, and through only my weekly training and a couple competitions, my confidence grew. I didn't notice it right away, but my bullies did. I didn't have to brag or show off. I just carried myself different. So to my bullies, I say thank you. I might not have been here standing here otherwise. Also, if any of them are here, I'd like to personally thank you with free lesson in the parking lot. I am, of course, joking. To all my students, past and present, I thank you, because without athletes, a coach has no purpose. Thanks as well going out to all my assistant instructors and coaches at YMATC and our branch clubs. I couldn't have gotten this far without you. And of course, to all my members, instructors, masters, grandmasters who imparted their knowledge to me over the past 32 plus years, thank you. Without martial arts, I wouldn't have met my wife, Carla, and who is my biggest fan and support. Subsequently, I also wouldn't have two wonderful children who continuously make me proud of and who have also achieved their black belt in Taekwondo. It is truly a great honor to be inducted into the Yorkton Sports Hall of Fame as an athlete and builder for the class of 2024 on this 30th anniversary. And I'd like to offer my congratulations to Nicole, Lori, Ed, and the 1998 Yorkton Expos Midget baseball team. Also to the support for sports recipients, Jay, Warren, Garrett, Chad, Michelle, Dion, and Don. I'm proud and humbled to have a spot beside all who have come before me. A tremendous recognition such as this is just the icing on the cake. Finally, to all the athletes out there still striving to be their very best, or just better than the day before, I leave you with one of my favorite quotes. If at first you don't succeed, try doing what your coach told you to do the first time. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Next, we have Nicole Nagy. Nicole is being inducted as an athlete in the sport of figure skating. Nikki's journey started in 2007 when she joined Skate Yorkton and spent 6 days a week training. She was identified as an athlete who demonstrated the talent, discipline, and maturity to become an elite skater in Saskatchewan. She took every opportunity to develop and improve her skills. In 2008 was Nikki's first taste at a provincial level, where she earned her first provincial title. She competed in the provincial championships every year after that until 2017. Her successes included 2009, she earned a second place in Skate Canada Sask Championship. 2010 she was provincial pre-juvenile champion. 2011, she earned second place as a provincial juvenile and was an alternate at the National Skate Canada Challenge Championships. She was also recognized and awarded with the 2011 Skate Canada Saskatchewan Competitive Athlete of the Year. In 2012, she placed fourth in the provincial pre-novice and competed at the Skate Canada Challenge in the pre-novice and in pairs. 2013 brought on a third place finish at the provincial pre-novice and a provincial pre-novice pairs champion. She also competed at the Skate Canada Challenge as a pre-novice. 2014 was a provincial pre-novice champion and again competing at the Skate Canada Challenge in pre-novice. 2015, Nikki skated at the Jeux Canada Games in Prince George, BC, and the Skate Canada Challenge as a novice, where she was offered a scholarship with the National Sports School in Calgary, where she trained as a pair skater for 8 months. And then she moved back to Saskatchewan after an injury. In 2016, she competed as a junior at the Skate Canada Challenge, and between 2011 and 2017, Nikki represented Saskatchewan at approximately 26 out-of-province competitions. On top of all of her skating accomplishments, Nikki participated in cross-country, placing in the top 3 at every meet she competed in, and in track and field, she was asked to participate in the Saskatchewan Provincial Track Meet after breaking the record in the javelin throw during the 2014 East Central Districts, all while maintaining good grades and being a positive mentor. In 2018, Nikki completed her high school diploma 6 weeks early and then signed her first professional skating contract with Hot Ice Productions. She traveled to the UK and performed as a principal pair skater from May through September that year. Nikki has since moved back to Saskatchewan and always makes time to volunteer with Skate Sask, with the grassroots seminars, and with Skate Yorkton's athletes. She coaches power skating in Yorkton, Churchbridge, and Roblin, and continues as an active mentor with Skate Yorkton. As a school counselor at MC Knoll, Nikki continues to provide positive energy and support to our youth, and is an advocate for the Jim Pattison Children's Hospital to raise money for life-saving research by running in the Million Reasons to Run each May. So, we welcome Nikki as an athlete in the sport of figure skating into the Yorkton Sports Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Nikki.
Good evening, everyone. I'm incredibly honored and humbled to stand here today being inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame. My journey began when I was just 7 years old in Yorkton, where I first laced up my skates. Back then, I was known as the little hard-working Spitfire, always pushing myself to be better, to work harder. That dedication led me to win 8 provincial titles, and I had the privilege of competing both provincially and nationally. But this moment, standing here, means so much more than just a photo on the wall. It represents a powerful message that no matter who you are or where you come from, with hard work and determination, you can achieve anything. I am no different from any young person out there. If you can do it, if I can do it, so can you. The possibilities truly are endless when you give it your all. Standing here alongside the city's best is humbling. It fills me with pride, but it also reminds me of my responsibilities I now carry. To be a positive example for others, this honor is more than just recognition. It's a lasting connection to my community and a reminder of how far hard work can take you. My skating career has taken me to places I could never have imagined. I had the honor of touring professionally, turning professional and skating with Stageworks Productions in Blackpool, England. I traveled the Eastern and Western Caribbean with Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, and I was lucky enough to portray the role as Anna from Frozen while touring Europe, America, Canada, and Australia with Disney on Ice. These experiences weren't just about skating, they were about growth, friendship, and incredible memories. There are so many people that I want to thank. My parents, who have always been my biggest supporters, have stood by me every step of the way. My mom in particular holds a special place in my heart, not only as my coach, but as a constant source of strength and guidance. Most of all, I want to thank the sport itself. Skating has given me more than just medals and trophies. It shaped me into the person I am today. It taught me resilience, discipline, and a love for what I do. Through skating, I met some of my best friends, the people I hold closest to my heart. And ultimately, this sport led me to my career as a counselor, where I now have the privilege of helping others in new ways. Thank you all for the incredible honor. It's one I will cherish forever, and I promise to continue working hard, inspiring others, and giving back to the sport and community that gave me so much.
Getting his start at a young age at the old Langenberg Arena, Ed Zawarsky honed his hockey skills that took him to unparalleled heights with a career that continues today. As an accomplished hockey player, Ed Zawarsky's stats speak volumes about his talents and dedication to the game of hockey. In addition to his illustrious playing career, he has also made significant contributions as a coach, nurturing young talent in the sport, displaying leadership, and a strong strategic acumen. After several years at the local minor hockey level, Ed joined the Yorkton Terriers of the SJHL in 1984 and ended up playing 3 seasons with the club. His achievements were remarkable. In 122 games over 3 seasons, he scored 108 goals, adding 133 assists for 241 points. His 152 points in the 1986-87 season remains a Terrier individual team record today. His 241 career points in only 3 seasons are tied for the 5th highest in team history. Following this junior career, Ed earned an NCAA Division I scholarship from Colorado College. He would go on to play 4 seasons with the Colorado College Tigers, including winning the award as the team's most valuable player in the 1990-91 season. Ed then turned professional and played 2 seasons with the Erie Panthers of the East Coast Hockey League, which included a call-up to play 14 games in the American Hockey League with the Rochester Americans. Ed then ventured overseas and played 9 seasons in Germany before retiring from playing in 2002. Making the transition to coaching, Ed began as the assistant coach of the Yorkton Terriers under head coach Don Chesney. In 2004, Ed took over as a head coach and GM of the Terriers for the next 6 years, leading the Terriers to the SJHL championship in his first season, winning the SJHL Coach of the Year honors along the way. The following season, the Terriers repeated, winning the league pennant during the regular season, the league championship, the Anavet Cup over the MJHL champions, and the right to play in the national championship tournament known as the RBC Cup at the time. Terriers would go all the way to the national final, but fell to the Kyle Turris-led Burnaby Express, but won the national silver medal. While coaching the Terriers, he was also the head coach for the Team West at the 2006 CJHL Prospects game, the head coach of Team Saskatchewan at the inaugural WHL Cup in 2009, and the head coach of Team Saskatchewan at the 2011 Canadian Winter Games held in Halifax. Ed also coached minor hockey in Yorkton, coaching back-to-back provincial championship teams, including representing at the Quebec Pee Wee Tournament in 2012. Ed spent 6 years with the Pursuit Hockey Academy in Kelowna before returning back to Yorkton to coach the Yorkton Maulers of the SAS Midget AAA Hockey League for 2 seasons. Some notable NHL draft picks that Ed has coached include Jake Neighbors, drafted 26th overall in the 2020 NHL draft by St. Louis, Connor McLennan, drafted in the 6th round by Philadelphia, Jack Finley, drafted 57th overall by Tampa Bay, and Luke Prokop, drafted 73rd overall by Nashville. This past summer, Ed was named as the EHC Straubing Tigers U13 head coach in Germany, and with their season about to begin overseas, Ed unfortunately was unable to be here tonight. Tonight we welcome Ed Zawarsky as both an athlete and a builder in the sport of hockey into the Yorkton Sports Hall of Fame. Accepting on behalf of Ed is his brother, Doug.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I just have some words for my brother. He had emailed me earlier and kind of wrote a speech for me, so I'm just going to read off what he had wrote. He said, I would like to thank Ryan Kitchen, an executive of the Yorkton Sports Hall of Fame, for my induction. I am truly grateful. Congratulations to my fellow inductees and their great accomplishments in respect to sports. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend. I am very thankful that my brother Doug was able to accept my induction and speak on my behalf. Congratulations to all the members of the hall, and I hope you are enjoying the evening. I am disappointed that I could not celebrate your accomplishments tonight, but I took time to walk through the hall before I left for Germany, and many of you are my friends, or friends of mine, and have impacted my life. Vern Pahal, Barry Marianchuk, Daryl Spiele, Ian Gordon, just to name a few. I thank you. The best feeling for me tonight is that I am able to thank and recognize all the people that have helped me and supported me along the way. If they aren't family, they sure feel like family to me now, and others who have become lifelong friends. To my mom, Kathy, and my dad, Clary, thank you so much for your sacrifices made. whether it was warming my toes after skating all day or buying me skates and sticks. To all the trips you made to watch support me as a player and a coach, I am forever grateful, and I love you very much. I'm sure they've watched over 700 Terrier games, spending many nights watching me play and coach, as well as watching my son Alec and now my nephew Jai play for the Terriers. To my sister Lisa and my brother Doug, thank you for always being there for me. Love you too. I was very fortunate to enjoy hockey with my family, and we've enjoyed a lot of special memories together. Growing up in Langeberg, I could not have been a better for me. I am forever grateful for my childhood friends and their parents, the coaches, teachers, neighbors. Thank you to all the people that ran minor hockey in the rink, figure skating, baseball, the sports days, the track and field meets, the swimming pools, Boy Scouts, the Warriors, Colts fastball. To all who made my childhood so great, thank you. I want to thank Reg Kachanowski and Jerry James for bringing me to Yorkton. It's here in Yorkton where my hockey development continued. Thank you to many people involved with the Maulers and the Terriers that have helped me. My Auntie Marge, the Burns family, the Hubick family, who are my billets, the teachers of the Yorkton Regional High School, especially Barry Sharp and his family. My coaches, Kevin Janelle, Norm Johnson, Dennis Polonich, and Barry Marianchuk, along with his wife Brenda, who are lifelong friends of mine and family. Thank you to my trainers, Terry Burns, Mike Sedek, Dale King, to all my teammates I had here in Yorkton, thank you. I was fortunate enough to play for 4 years of college hockey with the Colorado College. I had a decent pro career with stops in Erie, Rochester, Scotland, and 9 years in Germany. I am currently coaching in one of my favorite stops, Straubing. All of this wouldn't have happened without playing for the Maulers and the Terriers. For me, hockey is the greatest game in the world because of it. I've had so many great experiences visiting so many places, met my best friends, met my wife Christine, and had my boys Christoph and Alec. The game of hockey has truly given me the greatest gifts. Thank you for inducting me into the Yorkton Sports Hall of Fame. It is truly an honor, and I hope you all enjoy the evening. Yours in hockey, Ed Zawarsky. Thank you, guys.
Lori Pollock is being inducted as an athlete and a builder in the sport of synchronized swimming. Lori started swimming at the age of 9, learning how to swim in Lillian Britton's backyard pool in Rokeby, Saskatchewan. She then joined the Parkland Synchronized Swim Club and competed until the age of 13. Lori competed at the local, provincial, regional, and national levels in swimming, seeing very much success. In her first provincial meet in 1983, she competed in the age 7 to 9 category, earning a silver in her solo swim, a gold in her duet, and a gold in her team swim. In 1984, she had almost an identical result, and then in 85, her solo swim resulted in a gold, duet in a silver, team swim in another gold. She also competed in the Saskatchewan Winter Games in the 8 to 10 age group, where her solo again earned her a gold medal and a second gold for her team swim. In the 1986 and 87 provincials, she earned gold medals each year for both her solo swims and their team swim, qualifying Lori to compete at the provincial solo championship at the national level. Representing Saskatchewan and Quebec in 1987, she earned a 10th place finish in her solo event. By the age of 14, she had advanced as much as she possibly could at the local and provincial levels, so she started to coach for the Parkland Synchronized Swim Club until she graduated from high school and moved to Red Deer for nursing school. While she was in Red Deer, she needed a job while she was attending school, so she moved a recreational synchro program into Red Deer's first synchronized swimming club and coached there for 5 years before moving to Calgary in 1997. While in Calgary, she began swimming again for about 10 years as part of the Calgary Aquamum Masters before moving back into a coaching role. In the year 2000, they took the team international, competing in the World Finna Masters Championship in Munich, Germany, and have since competed in the event in Sweden in 2010, Riccione, Italy in 2012, Budapest, Hungary in 2017, and Kagoshima, Japan in 2023, receiving medals in each competition in the team, trio, and combo events. Lori has represented her sport with dedication and humility. She has displayed a unique talent as a coach to be able to match music to athletes and inspire them to reach their full potential. Lori continues to give back to the sport and has been part of it for 41 years. She has been recognized with the Volunteer Certificate Merit Award, the 3M Coach Recognition Award, and the Athlete of the Month, on top of numerous medals. Lori credits Synchro and her coach for shaping her into the person that she has become. And we welcome Lori as an athlete and builder in the sport of synchronized swimming into the Yorkton Sports Hall of Fame.
We know her. I pretend not to know them. Oh, thank you for this recognition to the committee and to nominations and to Yorkton in general. It's difficult to believe that over 40 years I've spent in this sport and I'm only now starting to get good at it. I do have to say I'm very proud to share the wall out there with Mrs. Lillian Britton. She is the reason I'm a swimmer and a coach, and she is the mentor and the voice in my head for the last 40 years. If I'm at the pool, I can hear Mrs. Britton in my brain. When synchronized swimming was introduced in the 1984 Olympics, that silver medal duet became who I idolized. To be an Olympian was the most sought after of any athlete in this world. But I also realized this 5'2" frame was never going to fit in with the 5'10" long-legged synchronized swimmers at the time. I barely reached their armpits when we went to nationals. Oh, it was a year off, and then I came back because I couldn't survive a year or a life without swimming. And that's when Mrs. Britton again took me under her wing and taught me how to become a coach. Having learned from her, I pretended to have enough knowledge to actually convince the Red Deer Recreational Center to support a startup club. And after 5 years, that club is still in existence. To me, the greatest value of a coach is that that beginning will continue for a legacy. Leaving Red Deer to start my profession in Calgary for nursing was a difficult decision, but it led me to the Calgary Aquamums. This transition allowed me to become a swimmer again for the Master Synchronized Swimming Club. The first time I ever left the country, I was traveling with these exceptional ladies to be the competition in Munich. After that, travel got very much more fun because no matter where you went, you had a team supporting you, finding where we were supposed to be, or helping you to get lost. Since I was lucky enough to attend several events all over the world, most recently in Japan, the club is an amazing back support for everybody. They feature swimmers from the ages of 20 all the way up to 85. Our oldest duet had to take 2 years off because they were getting matching pacemakers that year. The year later, they were back in the pool and competing at the next nationals. A decade ago, I returned to coaching of the Masters Club. It's a glorious way to balance out the stress of my regular emerge nurse job with being a creative, and I get to yell at people. On a pool deck, it's always a wonderful place to make just stress-free decisions. As master swimmers, it's very important to me to encourage swimmers of past and present to remember the joy of the sport remains regardless of level or talent or age. I encourage any athlete to find a club and start swimming again. You will get exercise and find a group of ladies who will be lifelong friends. Strangely enough, that 1984 duet that I idolized is now my teammate, and I travel all the world with her. All of this history is only possible because Yorkton had a swimming pool and a synchro club that had parents who were willing to sacrifice their weekends to give up for bingo and bathing suit sewing. And in a city that was best known for its ice sports, It was fabulous to be recognized for a water sport and be able to say thank you to all of Yorkton for starting me on a path that has led to competing and coaching all over the world. Thank you for the foundation in a sport I love and will continue to be a part of for the rest of my life. Thank you.
It was a season for the ages for the 1998 Yorkton Expos Midget U18 baseball team. The newly formed South Saskatchewan Midget AAA Baseball League offered the best midget age competition in the province, featuring 24 games against the top 4 Regina teams, the Melville Millionaires, the Yorkton Prairie Bandits, and the Estevan Blazers. For most teams, a 24-game schedule plus extra tournaments and provincials would be a long enough baseball season. But the Expos had a group who thrived on playing more games, so they also played a full season in the Southeast Senior Baseball League, along with several other tournaments. All told, the Expos ended up playing a whopping 64 games throughout the summer. Quite an accomplishment for a Saskatchewan summer. The Expos finished second in their midget regular season with a record of 18-5-1. In the SESBL, the Midget Expos finished first in the regular season with a record of 10-3-1. The Expos would come up just short in both playoffs, falling in the midget semifinals to the Regina Blue Jays and to the Saltcoats Lakers in the SESBL finals. However, the main goal all year was to win the Midget A provincial championships that were to be held in Lloydminster. A 2-1 record during the preliminary round was enough to advance to the semifinals against Estevan, which they won in order to preserve a spot in the final versus the Regina Aces. In the final, the Aces were up 6-3 in the bottom of the 4th inning, with bases loaded and only one out, threatening to blow the game wide open. The TSN turning point occurred as a 1-2-3 double play, which ended the inning, keeping the game close. In the top of the 5th, a Phil Sobko 3-run home run put the Expos ahead 8-6. And then a bases loaded clearing double an inning later, again by Phil Sobko, put the game out of reach. The Expos would close things out with a 14-6 victory to win provincials. Next up was the Canadian Midget Baseball Championships to be held in Red Deer, Alberta. The Expos were a perfect 3-0 in the round robin. This was a tournament that featured future Major League Baseball players like Justin Morneau. And they got into the semifinal against Windsor, where unfortunately the wheels completely fell off in a big loss, which ended the Expos' gold medal hopes. However, in the bronze medal game versus New Brunswick, the Expos came back, the Bats came alive in an 11-4 victory and claimed the national bronze medal. Overall, in those 64 games, the Expos' overall record that summer, 46-16-2. The original 12 players that made up the Yorkton Expos prior to provincials and nationals were Greg Andrechuk, Darcy Bloomert, Stephen Brenzen, Mike Chillog, Chad Elmy, Travis Fogg, Graham Lamb, Travis Mantenko, Ryan Neal, Mark Newens, Vaughn Torrey, Jeff Wisniak. Coaching staff, head coach Cash Andrechuk, assistant coach Vern Neal, and assistant coach John Zeben. For provincials and nationals, they picked up Mike Bubnick, Phil Sobko, Ian Taschuk, John Krong, Colby Field, and Rob Herond. As a result of that magical season in 1998, the Yorkton Expos were recognized as Sask Baseball Association's 1998 Minor Team of the Year. In the years following, many of those players achieved great success, including playing for the Yorkton Cardinals of the WMBL, various college baseball teams, WHL hockey, and senior baseball. Joining us here today and representing the team are Coach Cash Andrechuk, players Greg Andrechuk, Darcy Bloomert, Mike Chillog, Travis Fogg, Graham Lamb, Travis Mantenko, and Jeff Wisniak. We are also pleased to be joined by Joanne Neal, representing her late husband and team assistant coach Vern Neal, and her son and Expos player Ryan Neal. Tonight we welcome the 1998 Yorkton Expos as a team in the sport of baseball into the Yorkton Sports Hall of Fame. Yeah, bring up the whole team. Travis Mantenko, Travis Fogg, Graham Lamb, head coach Vern Andrzejczyk. Oh, come on. Cash Andrzejczyk.
No, you're good. Well, I guess she's representing Vern. She's here. He was sick.
She's coming. She's still here.
We'll get yeah, that's Vern. That's for Vern.
Vern and Ryan.
Yeah. It's a late.
There we go.
Okay, well, thank you, Ryan Kitchen, for the tremendous introduction. Greatly appreciated. Big thank you to the Yorkton Sports Hall of Fame for having us, our Expos team, alongside all the tremendous inductees tonight, and all of the previous inductees over the last 30 years that Dick DeReich mentioned earlier tonight. The caliber of athlete, builder, etc. was, I don't think we even belong in that, in their company, but anyway, moving forward, we cannot have achieved our goals without the collective support of countless people, from family and friends, our coaching staff, and community. We played 64 games in 1998, and the amount of sacrifice from everybody connected to the team did not go unnoticed. I'd like to thank Brian Trollope for nominating us. I don't think he's here tonight, but thank you very much, Brian. If anybody is familiar with the Yorkton baseball scene, Brian, he's probably done as much or more than anybody for baseball in Yorkton. So a little round of applause for Brian Trollope. Yeah, thanks to all the parents that had to juggle several commitments with kids, family, work, etc. that year with 64 games. It was a lot. To fans giving us well wishes and support throughout the season. To our farm families taking precious time away from the field, especially during harvest season. To the parents who would bring food for us, like we'd play a weekday game in Regina in midweek, and at 3:30 we would meet at the Yorkton Regional High School parking lot, and they'd bring us food. So thank you for all the parents for doing that. We had an excellent coaching staff, which included Cash Andrzejczyk along with Vern Neal and John Zeben. Cash Andrzejczyk, my dad, coached me all the way from toss ball to midget. And at the beginning of each season, he always stated one thing, and the number one rule on every team that he ever coached was that you had to have fun. That was his only rule. If you weren't having fun, that you were at the wrong place. He always took time to help out players and spent countless time doing stats and submitting articles for our local newspaper. Vern Neal was the assistant coach for our team, who brought a wealth of experience as he played several years of competitive baseball around the province and used that experience to pass knowledge on to others. He was also a tremendous calming influence. Before provincials that year, we had a tough game and we lost, I think, in extra innings. After the game, we were very dejected, and Vern Neal, he just said after the game, we gathered around, he said, "You guys are one of the top 5 midget baseball teams in the province." And he said it with conviction, And yeah, he was absolutely right. And our other assistant coach was John Zeben. He worked tirelessly teaching the basic fundamentals of the game. If you were at the ballpark in Yorkton over the last 30 years, then you knew exactly who John Zeben was. He was that energetic fellow who would tell you what a player was doing wrong and how to correct what he was doing wrong. He could go on and on and on, but if you took time to listen to John, he would help you. We would not have achieved our success without our coaches, and we were very thankful for Cash, Vern, and John. I'd also like to take this time to acknowledge some special people involved with the team who have passed away and would have been honored to share in the celebration tonight. Darcy's parents, Ray and Shirley Bloomert, Mark Newen's father, Mel Newens, Travis Mintenko's dad, Durrell Mintenko, Phil Sopko's father, Bill Sopko, also legendary coach of the Yorkton Cardinals, Ronald Torrey, our scorekeeper, Marge Ross, our assistant coach, Vern Neal, and our great teammate and friend, Ryan Neal, AKA Nails. Ryan passed away in 2011, and it was an extremely tough pill for us to swallow. He had an infectious smile and a tremendous sense of humor and got along great with everybody. Team chemistry was very important to our team, and Ryan Neal understood this and went out of his way to make sure everybody enjoyed each other's company. He was a great player and a great friend to all. And once again, I'd like to acknowledge Joanne Neal for being here tonight to represent Ryan and Vern. So a round of applause, please, for Joanne. In closing, I'd like to thank everyone once again for being a part of our journey. We will never forget the lessons we learned, the friendships we made, and the memories we created. Being inducted into the Yorkton Sports Hall of Fame is another feather in the cap, and I would like to congratulate our players in attendance. Darcy Bloomert, Mike Chillog, Travis Fogg, Travis Mintenko, Graham Lamb, and Jeff Wisniak, and head coach Cash Anderchuk. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the evening.
That's our program for the evening. Congratulations again to the inductees and the Lions Award winners. I would ask that the 4 Lions Award winners who are here, come up to the front after we finish for some pictures. Thanks again to our sponsors who will be with us as our sponsors for the next 12 months. And thank you all for coming out and joining us. We'll do this again next year. And nominations for both the Lions Support for Sports Award and the Inductions will open in late January. The process is explained in the program and on our website at www.yshf.ca when the call for nominations goes out. It will tell you that we get questions. Why isn't so-and-so in the Sports Hall of Fame? If you don't nominate them, they're not going to get in the Sports Hall of Fame. Our executive, our board, does not nominate. We manage the organization, we judge the nominations, but it's up to members of the community to identify the people who are worthy of this honor and nominate. So please give that some thought over the next few months. When we get into November and the snow flies, you won't have much else to do anyway, so think about who you might want to nominate for the Sports Hall of Fame. Thanks to our sponsors again. They're here and here. Thanks to the Lions Club for your support. The Yorkton Lions, by the way, are hosting their annual Tasting Festival of Wine, Spirits, and Beer in the Flexi Hall 2 weeks from now, September 21st, in conjunction with the Taste of Yorkton. So if you didn't get enough over there, come back in 2 weeks. Wherever you go from here, be safe, and thank you. Good night.
If you'd like to share your feedback on the program you just watched, contact us today